So hello and welcome to our tarot webinar intro on the 11th of September. This is just to go through a little bit about tarot itself, the history of tarot, and what you can get from our course. So we're really happy to have you here. Obviously, if you're joining us on the live, that is really appreciated, but also those that can be here and are watching later on the recording. Hi, I hope you're having a good day, and thanks for being here. So I'm just going to go through what we're going to run through in the webinar itself. So we're going to introduce me initially, then we're going to go through a bit about who the Starseed Sisterhood are. I'll then run through a brief intro to tarot. I'm going to give you a little bit of insight about the Fool's journey within tarot as well, for those that may not or may not already know. We'll talk about some key spiritual concepts that you would need to apply and learn that are very useful for you as you embark on this tarot journey. And some of those can be some that you may recognize, others you may not recognize at all. So we're going to go through some of these concepts for you. Then we'll go through the tarot course that we've created and what that will entail, what you get with it, with the packages and prices. And finally, there'll be a opportunity to ask any questions. And so anyone who is watching in the recording, I'll put my email address and send it to you so that if you do have any questions as this comes through, you will be able to email me and ask me those. Alternatively, anyone who is here with us live, feel free to ask me anything at this point. It could be anything about anything that we've discussed or something new around tarot. I'm an open book when it comes to tarot itself, and it means a lot to me. So it's quite exciting to be able to share with you the journey that I've been on. Finally, I will close out the ceremony with a little bit of music and reiki, just because that's something that I love to do, and it feels like we're honoring the space for everyone. So yeah, I really hope that that will be a really nice way to close it out for everyone. So I know if you do have any questions about anything on the packages or the prices or just the tarot course, look, there's no obligation for you to sign up either. It's just for me to go through with you and explain what you get and lay out the course. But obviously not everyone can join straight away, and that's fine. We're really happy to go on this journey with you, and we'll continue to do TikTok lives, pull one card and longer spreads. And if you did want any longer tarot readings, they are available on the website as always as well. Okay, so a little bit about me. It's really hard when you talk about yourself, so here we go. So I am a compassionate guide and psychic. I'm here to help empower and enlighten your spiritual journey through understanding and positivity. I've had 12 years experience in using and applying tarot, probably 15 years on, sorry, let me say that again. Probably 15 years experience in terms of my spiritual journey. And I'll let you know a little bit of where I began. My spiritual journey started when I had a car accident. So I had a head-on car crash with a transit van, and I have metal all the way down my arm. And so it was at that point that I really discovered to tap into my own intuition, because I had a voice guiding me. It told me exactly what to do. I believe now it was a higher self or my ancestors, an angel or a spirit guide there to really support me at that time to make the right decision, because it was a head-on. So for those that are in England, it was a 60 mile per hour head-on. I was in a little Renault Clio with a transit van. For those in America, it's 160 head-on. So it's like hitting a brick wall, worse than hitting a brick wall. It's like a brick wall coming at you. But the experience that I went through was amazing, and the voice inside my head actually told me to lock my arms and drive into the transit van. And so after this experience, obviously I had to kind of make sense of what happened, and it really then sent me on this amazing journey around the world. I went to all sorts of temples, Buddhist temples in Thailand. I met with a Wiccan coven in North America, and I lived in Canada for 5 years making jewelry. and working on Vancouver Island, meeting all sorts of spiritual, high vibrational people. And then I've actually come back to the UK and honed my craft there. And now I'm here as a mystic intuitive with you all. So I'm a tarot reader, a Reiki healer. I'm a soul singer. So I use my voice with light language to activate, but also if you've actually experienced our YouTube channel, you'll hear that I use a lot of my voice for the affirmations, for long songs, and anything there that can help enliven and enrich the soul. I also work with a lot of crystals, so I'm a crystal grid worker. I place crystals all around the earth, and sometimes I'm intuitively guided to go to certain places and create crystal grids or place them on the ground to help heal the earth, as well as being a moon witch. So I really resonate with the moon, hence the name Luna. I'd be curious to know what types of witch you consider yourself to be, or wizard, you know, we are, or warlock, as other people call them. We're very open here. And finally, I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm looking to bring this guidance to everyone. And obviously, any energy exchange that I do is all appreciated, but I'm here to help others reflect and grow through their own spiritual journey, because not all journeys are the same. And so we all have to go through this process. And it can be quite difficult at times, especially if we feel alone or misunderstood, or lacking a tribe that really understands us. So from my own experience, that's what I've been through. So it means a lot to me to be able to give that back to others. So I'll be the one taking you through the course. I'll be here the whole step of the way. So if you do embark on this journey with us, it will be me that will be teaching you. Okay, so who are the Starseed Sisterhood? The Starseed Sisterhood is a spiritual e-commerce brand with a wise and powerful point of view that helps you learn mystical practices in a sacred way. So we wanted to keep it quite simple and just explain what our mission statement is. We want to make sure that we're helping people learn mystical practices, and this kind of means that we can bring in products that will help support you, whether it's using white sage or crystals, or create resources that can help you as well. I've recently created a resource around all the full moons and new moons for the rest of the year, as well as the eclipses. And this is going to be available on the website for free. So I like to put back and give back, and make sure that there's resources available for everyone on this journey. And so what we have here is we have an e-commerce store. So you may have found us on the website, the starseedsisterhood.co. There we offer, like we said, products, healing services. We also have a YouTube channel. So within the YouTube channel, we make high vibrational music, tuned to different frequencies, positive affirmations, chakra music. I've made music around different parts of the world, especially spiritual places. So that was a really fun one. And anything really, I often get asked to create different content pieces, and I'm always open, and it's really nice to be able to create content that the community wants. So if there was anything in particular that you feel you need, let us know. We also have an online community, which is from TikTok, and there I give back by doing free readings or paid for readings, and just growing the community really, so we can support each other as we grow, doing lives and being there for one another. And finally, we create a lot of pins on Pinterest, so resources and inspiration around different modalities. Some of the recent pins I've made was around Reiki. And that was really exciting as I was learning the Reiki symbols. I've been doing Reiki a long time, but I wanted to refresh myself and have them on the wall, and then I decided to share them with others. So again, if there is any resources that you feel you need or something you're drawn to, let me know. We'd always be happy to create these for you. The pictures I use here are just of some of the sisters in our tribe. And some of the lives that we've done. We've actually hosted some lives in the park in London, and I'm going to be doing some in Miami whilst I'm here, as well as offering tarot card readings on the beach. when it's not too hot. Obviously it can be really hot out here, and that's really something that I find important, creating a community in a space where we can tap into our own intuitive nature, and draw upon the energies that the earth provides, because there is something really special about getting out in nature and tapping into the energy that we see and feel there. I'd be curious to know if any of you are drawn to certain places as a grid worker, because we all have different spiritual gifts, and I'd be curious to know what yours are. Mine personally, definitely, I'm sometimes drawn along ley lines, dragon lines. When I was living in London, Richmond, I was drawn to walk around what I now know as the Arcadian, what was it? It was the Arcadian Meridian. And there I would always walk, and there were these big obelisks that I would be drawn to. And then since I've been here, I was drawn to Miami Beach. So I'm also seeing Glastonbury in my head a lot at the moment. So that's another place. But I'd be curious to know what kind of gifts you feel you have. Okay. So I'm not sure if any of you have ever worked with tarot before, but I started and assumed that we hadn't. So what I've got here is one of the most iconic decks that you may recognize. This is called the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, okay? And it's a beautiful, very iconic deck. And so what I'm going to be talking about when we teach tarot is this traditional deck here. We can then go off piste and talk about other decks and other oracle cards, and we'll be doing that in the last session. But the majority of what we'll be talking about is the Rider-Waite deck. And that's because it is the most iconic, it's the most traditional, and so it just makes sense to start here, and then you can go on your journey and branch out, but a lot of it comes back to these teachings. So tarot actually originated in Italy in the 14th century. It was called tarocchi, and it was a card game that kind of originated with the traditional set of cards that you know as just cards. So clubs, diamonds, hearts, and spades all relate to actually cups, pentacles, wands, and swords. So there's definitely symbology between the two because they started at the same time. And so throughout that time, there weren't pictures associated, so there were no pictorial pieces on the deck. It was just a game that people would play using their intuition for fun. It was then in the 1700s in France that it became more of a pictorial deck. And a lot of the time it was used in different countries for different reasons. I know in the past it was used to talk about religion without actually saying religion itself, because obviously there was some type of heretic. You could have been severely hurt for talking against the church at the time. And so there was a lot of knowledge that was started to be embedded in these cards, so people could have discussions about things without necessarily discussing them. And so that's why there's a lot of esoteric knowledge linked with tarot. And this came from someone called Eliphas Levi. And he is the later head of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. And so they were a group that liked to use Hermeticism, which are the Hermetic principles created by Hermes, that came from Greek times, but also have strong links to Egypt and Thoth as well. And so these are some ancient truths that they like to embed within the cards themselves. And so this is the reason that we tend to associate mysticism with the cards, different meanings, layer upon layer, because there is layer upon layer. And it was through the teachings of Eliphas Levi that Waite and Smith, who created this deck, embedded all sorts of mysterious teachings. And so Waite actually created the deck, and he was a member of the Golden Dawn, as well as Smith. She actually illustrated the cards. And so all of these illustrations you have today in the traditional deck were illustrated by Smith. And she worked very hard to add different symbols, the keys, the Hierophant here with the cross keys, the 3, this is the papal sign. So again, you've got all sorts of different symbols available to you as you read each card. And so the reason we call it the Rider-Waite deck is because it was published in 1909 by the Rider Company in the UK. And so they published this deck created by Waite and Smith, and it was a big hit. And so it is still in print today. It's had 100 million copies sold to date, so it's been pretty popular. And because it's now out of copyright, it's actually in the public domain. So this is why you see a lot of different versions of this deck, people being able to take some of these meanings and apply them to different tarot decks themselves, different decks that they create. So there's a lot of symbology through here, and this will be the deck that we use when we go through the tarot course. So I hope that's been informative for you, and you've learned a little bit about the Rider-Waite deck there. We'll go into more detail in the course. Okay. So next I'm going to talk about the Fool's Journey. So in tarot, there's the major arcana, which consists of I think it's 21 cards, and then the minor arcana, which is 54 cards. And so with the major, you've got these 21 cards, which are all about major themes within your life. And so we're just going to start there because they call this the Fool's Journey. And so this starts with the Fool himself. This is the Fool blindly taking a leap of faith into something new. And this can be the start, the beginning, or the end of a cycle. And so here, the start is the Fool, blindly taking a leap of faith into something new, and sometimes this is also the end of something, because you have to end something to start something new. So there's a new beginning and the end of something associated with it. This is why the card is represented as a 0, the infinite loop. And we call this the Fool's Journey, because to start something new, you have to foolishly, blindly take a leap of faith into something new. Sometimes naively, sometimes innocently. Then we have the practical realm. So we've got the Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, and the Chariot. And so these, numbered from 1 to 7, are always in this order. And so they talk about the energies you have to go through once you've been the Fool, taking a leap of faith into something new. Then you're the Magician, harnessing these empowered energies of all the cups, so emotions, thoughts, resources, and communication and passion, to take action in your life. Then you've got the High Priestess. The High Priestess is someone tapping into their intuition to know about where they need to go next. The Empress, reflecting that divine feminine essence that you have through this knowing outside into the real world. The Emperor, taking charge in your life, acting with assertive dominance over something. The Hierophant, being traditionally connected to something as well, with the keys, the papal symbol here. The Lovers, having to make a choice and a direction about relationships, and the Chariot, charging forward. So these are all energies that apply to the practical realm, and that are associated with concerns of our physical life, experiences that consciously shape us. Next, you've got the mental realm. So this will be the Strength, the Hermit, Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hangman, Death, and Temperance. And so these are all energies around our mental, how we seek self-knowledge and transformation, and what may be lurking within the subconscious mind that we may not be aware of currently. For example, we have strength. There's a strength coming through that's helping drive us forward, help us take that leap. And it's something that we can act on if we know that we've got this subconscious strength driving us. The Hermit, feeling like we have to withdraw and go within because mentally we may be exhausted or needing to heal at this time. The Wheel of Fortune, trusting that luck is going to turn in our favor because of the hard action that we've applied and the deeds that we've already done in the practical realm. Justice, knowing that karmic retribution will come against things in our life that may have not supported us. The Hanged Man, being forced to take that time out because potentially we need that enlightenment, we need to reflect, we need to see things from a different perspective, we need to look at something from the upside down and see how it's affected us. Death is always about transformation, allowing a part of yourself to die so that something can be reborn. And this always is a mental process. And then temperance, that balance that comes after that surrendering of self and balancing out, finding those new aspects of self and seeking resolve within one. Finally, we come to the spiritual realm. And so here, these are energies beyond our concept of self or beyond our dreams for the future, and more about how we fit into the world around us, what the bigger picture is trying to tell us, and how we are striving to affect the world. So, for example, you have the devil, because this is always about energies coming in to trick us, to deceive us in some way, and we can be attached to those energies and external things, or we can feel free from them. And so, when the devil comes in to tempt us, it's like, do we feel bound by this because of a belief or thought structure we had, or are we spiritually free? The Tower, something coming in to shake the foundation, because it may not be built on a solid structure. And so this is always something that happens potentially out of the blue, but it's here to remind us and allow us to see what may need to crumble in our world spiritually. The Star, because connecting to those parts of ourselves that need to be healed is sometimes a cyclic process, and aligned with the moon, the stars, the sun, the different aspects around us. And it's not always a linear process, it's a very circular process. And so I know for myself, very affected by the moon. Spiritually, healing can come through different times of the year for me. And so I reflect on that, which is a great time to look at the moon. That reflective energy, what is hidden beneath the surface, what does the darkness bring? And then the sun, where are we being called towards? What makes us feel good? And can we pursue more of that in our lives? Judgment, what may we need to reflect on so we can truly ascend consciously and continue to grow? And then the world, which is the end, which is the card 21. And so the world is a completion of a cycle with this wreath here. And it symbolizes the end of the fool's journey with these energies. And from here, the fool is ready to take a leap of faith into something new, into the world. And so this is what we call the major arcana. And these are the major energies that affect your journey through tarot. What we'll be covering in the course will be some of these different energies. We'll be going deeper into the meaning of each card, as well as covering the minor arcana, which represents, which we have wands, passion, energy, action. We have swords, communication, intellect. I also think thoughts, our mindset, how we talk to ourselves and how we talk to others. You've got cups, your emotions, and then you've got pentacles, which will be your resources, career, finances. And so these are the minor arcana. These are minor energies that we all need to master. And then we've got what we've just covered here, which are the major energies overall. So big themes in your life, and then partial themes in different areas. And so it's by using this process, can we start to understand what energies we need to work on or are affecting the individual that we're asking questions for. So here are just a few spiritual concepts or teachings that I thought we should cover that are really useful when looking to learn tarot. So to the left here, I talk about yin yang. So this is the idea of duality, masculine and feminine as well, because I talk a lot about the masculine and feminine energies, which can be called yin yang as well. it's just a showcase of duality, the extremes. And throughout history, masculine, feminine has been used, obviously, because it's a real showcase throughout nature in many species, plants. You can see it reflected through different aspects. So masculine, feminine is a great one to use. And this doesn't mean we don't have both aspects within. We all do. But it's just a great way to use these energies. For example, masculine is the energy that takes action, that protects, that is quite dominant and assertive. You would think of the emperor as being the ultimate divine masculine. The feminine, she receives, she nurtures, she births. So often she creates space for something to be born into this world, and she would be the epitome of the empress in the tarot. Then you've got the moon cycles, how the moon may be affecting you, linked to your astrological chart. Chakras, and so the different energy centers. The main chakras we'll talk about, there's 7, but then there's 12, and then there's even more when you go into deeper teaching. So there's layer upon layer that you can learn, but everyone tends to talk about the 7, which is the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. We've also got Reiki, and so Reiki symbols. This is the Choku-rei symbol here, which is an activation energy Reiki symbol for all other symbols, and it's just a modality, a universal life force that can be given to individuals to receive this universal healing and connect to their higher selves and go through this process of reflecting with themselves and doing some of the inner work and helping to release blockages that may be stuck within certain aspects of your aura. And finally, we have crystals. And so I actually work a lot with crystals. I am an earth sign, so I love my crystals. And crystals can be used in combination with your chakras, moon, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, all of these spiritual concepts that can be charged with energy. And so there's a lot there that can be used and built upon. And then I've also brought into this the Hermetic principles. And so as the Rider-Waite deck is built on the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn, it makes sense to really understand these 7 principles here. So you have mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. So what we think we can create, if we believe it to be so, it can be so, it is possible. Then you've got correspondence, as above, so below, as below, so above. This really is represented by the Magician card. And he is pointing up to the heavens and down to the earth, down to the sky. I'm just trying to find him, but I'm not sure if I can. Probably be there. And so that's something where, as within, so without. What can you imagine? If you are feeling something on the inside, then that will often be reflected to you in the outside world. And so there's something there that you can really learn to master, use. Here he is, look. He's looking up and he's looking down. So the law of correspondence. So this is about mastering the energy internally so you can see it show up in the outside world, which is the whole point of tarot. You've also got the law of vibration. Nothing rests. Everything moves, everything vibrates. So the perfect example to show you of this is a quartz, because quartz is neither a solid, a liquid, or a gas. It is something else because of what it vibrates at. But for us, we see it as this solid, but it's not. And it's vibrating at a very, very high frequency. And so this is why it's used in computer chips and all around the world for all sorts of various reasons. But this is the law of vibration. Then you have the law of polarity. Everything has its pair of opposites. So if you think of poles, if you think of hot and cold, light and dark, yin and yang, this is that there is always something that could be opposing this force. You've got the principle of rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tide and pendulum swings. So this is kind of linked to karma if you think about it. So what you've done will come back to you. Everything flows in and out, every breath. It's also recognizing the cycles of your life and working with them rather than trying to work against them. Knowing that if you've had an abundant time, it may have to have a time of leanness coming in your life, and it's not necessarily anything that you've done, but more just the rhythms of life. Cause and effect. There are many plays of causation, but nothing escapes the law. So the cause will always have an effect, and it may not be clear to you what that is and what the laws are, but there's always going to be an effect based on an action. And finally, you've got gender. So gender is in everything and manifests on all planes, which is what we do see. So we see masculine and feminine in all aspects of nature, plants, animals. There's a lot of gender associated in all. And again, it's that another example of polarity, it's opposite force as well. So often we have masculine connected with Mars and feminine Venus. So those different aspects too. So we've gone through quite a lot there. So now I'm just going to talk to you about what we're going to be doing for our tarot course. So we're doing an online course, which is a 4-week live training session. It will have exercises and resources and one-to-one coaching as well, if you choose that package. So we can start on the 12th, which is tomorrow, or the 19th, or I'm pretty open to dates to start. But I'm looking to start one in September. I'm working with people to help them actually use tarot in their own lives, in their own practices, and build on your own knowledge. So what is included in the course? Well, we have week 1, which will go through a basic overview of tarot. We'll talk about intuition and connecting with it and embracing your own deck. So how you may begin to shuffle, the different types of techniques to shuffle, how you go about cleansing the deck, how you would call in your angels and guides, how you want to organize it. Week 2, we tend to go through the major and minor arcana in detail, and we'll start to use our framework. And so here to the right-hand side, what you can see is an example of a framework that we've created all around how you would go about reading tarot. And this is something that you'll get within a poster that you can put up on the wall. So when you're actually shuffling, you can start to use this. So I'll go through our trademarked framework, which I've designed to help you use and read the cards from an intuitive knowing, but also looking at the legacy and the history of the card as well, because it's by knowing the two that you can really start to develop your own ways of reading, because not every reader is going to read the same, and it's really important that we recognize this. If everyone read the same, then you wouldn't have your favorite reader, you wouldn't resonate with you just go, oh, that's the way tarot works. But you may resonate with one reader rather than another. Someone may go further into their detail compared to you, another reader who's very high level. So it really does depend. And so this is really, really important when it comes to you carving your own path through tarot and setting your stage as a reader that is different. Not everyone wants to be the same. And so I've created this framework for you that you can use as a poster as you're getting to know the deck and starting to work with the cards and their meaning. In week 3, we'll go through reading multiple cards and using different tarot spreads, and we can work as a group to understand the different spreads that are available. There's some that are quite famous historically. There are others that you may want to create yourself. And so this gives a lot of freedom around this option here. And finally, we've got week 4. So here we'll go through oracle decks, other types of tarot. So there is Arthur Crowley's tarot, and his was the Thoth tarot, and there's the St. Petersburg tarot as well. But you also may want to apply readings with oracle decks and how you would go about using those as well. We'll also talk about other spiritual concepts to apply to your readings. For example, I use a lot of color and visuals. I also think of, I'm thinking of the Empress here. She's got a lot of pomegranates on her. So I know the story of Persephone and how she went into the underworld and was, they're associated with her having to go and stay with Hades for a time. And so there's these different stories that you can bring through to make your readings more interesting. Here you've got the symbol of Venus, the feminine aspect, the corn, the harvest season, the bounty. So you could talk about all sorts of aspects when you look at these different symbols. and apply them to your own readings as well. You may also be a spiritual practitioner, so you may want to use tarot to help you understand which chakra may be blocked for the individual, or what they may need to work on in your own spiritual healing or spiritual modality. I know people can use them to understand which essential oils they may need. There's so many ways that you can apply tarot to your own spiritual business, and so I can really help you with that, as well as I'm doing that myself. So this is the online course. So each week we'll connect for about 2 hours live, and then there'll be some homework. Okay, so I will be doing exercises and practices that we'll go through, that will help you connect to your deck. There'll be journal prompts and things that you can do related to the cards, so you can get to know them. And so when you come back each week, we will go through that and reflect together. So yeah, it's very exciting. And so there are 2 packages available. We have package A, which is just the tarot course. And so this will give you the access to the 4-week tarot course with the 2-hour weekly group lessons. You'll get the additional exercises, resources, and access to a private support group. So you can always ask each other questions, share your experiences. You can share the homework that you do. And with this, you'll have access for life. So as we evolve the tarot course, you'll be able to join and log in as we go. It'll be a lifelong access, lifelong membership. And so as these resources build, you will also be able to access these as well. Package B is a little bit more in depth. This is for those who may want to have coaching included. And so you'll have access to everything included within the tarot course, plus individual hourly coaching calls. So you'll get 4 in total, 1 per week. And that is where we can actually apply some of the techniques and the lessons that you wanted as you're reading tarot. You can have them as we go through the course, or you can have these coaching calls down the line as you're using tarot in your own business. It's entirely up to you. So that's something that you can decide on, but there's 2 options available to you. Okay, and so these are the prices for the course. Like I said, it's over the 4 weeks. I've done them in the different countries because we do work with all sorts of people now on TikTok. There's so many people all around the world. And so I've included the different prices there that will update on our website as well. So if you go to the starseedsisterhood.co, which will send you in a follow-up as well, and we'll send you all of this information later, you'll be able to click and change the currency that you wanted to purchase the course in. And so this is why I've included the different times that you could join live. But if you can't join live, that's absolutely fine. We will record all sessions and make them accessible for life. So you can do the course at your own pace. But obviously you may miss out on some of those interactive moments, but that's absolutely fine. It's entirely up to you how you want to learn and do it. But we want to make sure that it's accessible for everyone. And it's lovely to have people join from all over the world. So that means a lot to us as well. So that was really good timing. So I am going to offer a little bit of a discount if anyone signs up today. So you'll get a 10%, sorry about that. You'll get a 10% saving if you sign up to our course now. And that's just now or in response to watching the recording. This is a one-off deal. Otherwise it will just be the original price. I just wanted to offer it to everyone who has shown up to the webinar or wants to watch the recording later. All you need to do is simply message me or let me know that you wanted to go ahead, and I will then send you the price or give you a discount code that's unique to you. And this is just the webinar discount. So anyone who attends this and does promote us and joins us, we really do value you being here with us. So we thank you so much for your energy and for being part of our tribe. So finally, I'm just going to ask, does anyone have any questions? You can ask anything you wish. Any questions at all, so feel free. I'm going to stop I'll continue the recording, but you're very welcome to ask anything. So I'm just going. So let's just close the ceremony out with a bit of sage. This is a goddess subliminal for the root chakra. And so it just helps us to root our energies into the earth. Thank you for everyone who's joined it and who's watching. Thank you for being here, Elizabeth. And thank you for anyone watching on the recording later. We're very grateful for you. And so I'm just going to use this big bit of garnet, which I'm being drawn to. Oops, sorry. And so we're going to send us energy to connect to our roots and ground us into the earth. I'm feeling that in my legs. Woo, tingly in my feet. Remember to breathe. Feeling that activating the back of my heart. So I do hope this session has been informative for you all and that you enjoyed being here. Obviously, if you have any questions, I'll be sending up a follow-up email, so you'll feel free to just get back to us about anything. Elizabeth, I'll be sending you some information about those resources that you can access. And thank you very much for being here. Continue to join us on TikTok for our lives. We really value you as members of our community. And namaste. Thank you for being here, everyone.